Alright, this is Stephen Hawkman. This is book 3 of Hawkworld. It's kind of like when Scatman John did Scatland. This is a very popular series. Some graphic novels from the late 80s that reimagined Stephen Hawkman as a rather depressing dystopian spaceman. I have looked at the other two, and my opinions have been, I think I've not really enjoyed it much. I respect it, but it's not really for me. It is space fantasy stuff, whereas I just like me superheroes. I can barely remember what has happened so far, but on Hawkworld, it is miserable and totally fascist. The nasty man, he is like the king of Hawkworld. And on this planet, the rich get rich and the poor live in squalor. That sort of thing. And there is some body horror with the bad guy. He has risen to power in this decadent police state from basically being the biggest bastard on the planet. Meanwhile, we have the have-nots, the underbelly of Hawkworld, all the destitute freakazoids, and all the illegal gun running and illegal drug dealing. And this Hawkgirl, who is one of the planet's police force, she is in charge of the beat where all of this is going down. This isn't the real Hawkgirl. The real Hawkgirl was interesting and sexy, and she died in the second book. You see, what has happened is Stephen Hawkman, he has taken over the underworld of Hawkworld. He has came along and become the leader man of the underclass. He is the champion of the oppressed. He has organised them, and he has, galvanised them and gotten them all to work together. And now fake Hawkgirl confronts him, and she is like, "Not on my watch, you hippie prat." But then we find out that Stephen Hawkman, he's not doing it for money or evil reasons. He is doing it to help them out. He has them all receiving medical help and stuff like that. And there is a little baby there. And so the fake Hawkgirl, let's call her Phony Hawk, like Tony Hawk. Phony Hawk lets him off because he's not really evil. And more body horror with the antagonist. I hope this body horror element pays off. I think one of my criticisms of the past two books was that so much of this is world building, and this one is packed with it, but I didn't think it is as dense as the other two. It's not as overdone as it was in those. But then my other problem is that Stephen Hawkman is bloody boring in these. He really doesn't have any personality. He is defined by the plot rather than his actions or his feelings. Whenever he does something, it is the case I am usually not given reason for why he is doing this. It doesn't really align with what we know about him. He is someone who takes actions or does things because the story requires him to, rather than because that is what his character would do. Then we have got a big explosion of plot exposition and more world building. And it was mainly these pages where I was reminded that that was a problem with these books for me. It is a combination of me not caring for this world and not having a good character behind it. Then we have our big final showdown between Stephen Hawkman and the Nasty Man. And this is mostly good. It's even satisfying to see Stephen Hawkman finally wearing something that looks like his classic costume. This is well told action, and there hasn't been that much action in this series. I remember there was a good standoff scene in the first issue, but when it comes to action, this is the most we have seen on that front, and this is great. The payoff to the body horror is that he transforms into Marvel's Sugar Man, and then he gets burnt alive, and we have the classic hero moment where Stephen Hawkman is about to execute his fallen enemy, but then someone else shows up, in this case Phony Hawk, and she reminds him that he is better than that. I didn't know that he was better than that because he has lacked any details as a character. So the bad guy gets away, and then that is the end. And there will be an ongoing series after this. It is written by John Ostrich, and from what I hear, it mangles up continuity by trying to make this work as part of DC's main continuity. Personally, I didn't care much overall for Hawkworld. There were moments of enjoyment. The real Hawkgirl was great for the 10 pages she appeared on. The fight in this and the confrontation scene in book 1, that was good. The rest I think I can live without. Dense world building of a not that original world, and a totally listless central character who I never know how he feels about anything or where he stands. I can understand if you like this, but I can only give it 7 thumbs up.